All right, pod number 2 on my day of my 3 podcast day. I've got Stephen Lauder from Way Up West Outdoors on. He's a good friend of my friend Luke Dusenberry, and he's friends with Mike Hearn, a bunch of guys on staff with Tricer. And they're like, you got to have Stephen on. He's just an awesome dude, a hunter, a killer, and a filmer. And Stephen, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. I love doing these things.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I don't know nothing about you other than we just talked for 15 minutes. And I was like, we should have pressed record 15 minutes ago because it's been such a good conversation. So, I mean, you are like, you're kind of living the dream, right? You're kind of living the, like, you're full time hunting industry now. You're leaving your job. You're going to be doing this thing. And um, who's Stephen Lauder?
So kind of, I don't even know where I started. So I've been hunting my entire life. And then like did the whole thing started as soon as I was big enough to carry a gun, shooting with my dad and my brother, and
California guy,
I
too, right?
yeah, in California, actually, Northern California, the better half. But
The better half. Okay. I'll
yeah,
take it.
it's a lot of duck hunting, fair little amount of deer hunting, and then bear hunting when you could actually run hounds in California back
Yep.
way back in the day. And then joined the Marine Corps, spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and then that's actually when I got into cameras, believe it or not. I was a sniper in the Marine Corps, and then most of what a sniper's job is actually like reconnaissance. And when I was learning, we had cameras, and we take cameras, take pictures, send the pictures over the radios back to the headquarters and that kind of stuff. So that's how I learned cameras, long exposures, and used the big giant lenses and stuff. And then got kind of addicted to cameras then, and then got out, bought my first camera, and went hunting, and then just started toting a camera with me everywhere. And yeah, started taking pictures, and then I just really liked it, and then started learning how to film, and kind of started putting stuff together here and there, and it just kind of slowly grew over the years. And then yeah, until finally I can carry a camera and run a camera for my job and full time. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. So I'm curious, like, with the sniper stuff, like, how much of that has just gone away now with the drones?
Well, the Marine Corps Scout Sniper, I've kind of heard grumblings about it, so there's probably definitely people that know more about it than I've been out for over 10 years now. I'm pretty sure all snipers are gone. Like the MOS 0317 has been disbanded and cut off. I'm pretty sure. I think it's gone
Oh,
all to reconnaissance.
even the
Yeah. So
snipers are gone.
the sniper schools are still there, but I think it's all kind of straight, like the reconnaissance guys. And there might be guys listening to this that are telling me I'm full of it. From what I've heard, what I've been told is like quote unquote the battalion snipers. What I am is gone. Is not done anymore. So it's just shifted because it's just peacetime. I don't think it's drones or anything else. It's just the kind of the peacetime stuff. This has happened before in the Marine Corps, where the stuff goes away and then it comes back. And I mean, they get rid of things and then bring them back over time. So um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the last of a dying breed from what I understand. So
Really?
yeah,
So when you got in, did you get in with the intention of being a sniper?
yeah, yeah, I did. That was my goal. The way it works in the Marine Corps is you got to go in as infantry, and then you get to the battalion, and you got to try out. You got to be lucky enough to, it's just got to all line up. And for me, luckily, it did all line up. It took me 2 tries to actually get into the sniper platoon. Tried the first time and didn't make the cut, and then tried the second time and did make the cut, and then got to go to school and all that stuff, and then become an official Marine Corps Scout Sniper. But yeah, it's all got to kind of line up, and you got to get lucky. I didn't know that. That's how recruiters get you. They're like, "Yeah, you'll definitely be able to do it," and then you show up, and you're like, "It's not how it works at all."
It's gotta get you in
So
there.
yeah, exactly. They just got to get you to sign the paperwork. So, but it worked out for me, so I'm thankful.
So
But
when you're like a Marine sniper, I'm just curious. We're kind of going down a rabbit hole, but are you guys shooting 308s or Win Mags, 338s? What are you
it's
guys shooting?
7.6. When I was in, it was a 7.62. Yeah, I think they
308.
switch. They switched to the 300 Win Mag a few
So
years ago.
7.62, like 308 cartridge, though, correct?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
short action,
Mhm.
308. Which, man, that's what my kids all shoot 308s. Like, I switched
Mhm.
them over. Actually, I actually did buy my 11-year-old at 6.5 Creedmoor for this year, but it just works. And it's
Mhm.
so crapped on in the industry. And I'm like, dude, it's like the sniper rifle of like all my friends who are LEO. And obviously there are more short range stuff, right? Like my brother-in-law who's a sniper, he's like, dude, we're 100 yards and in. Like
Yeah.
when we're hunting, we're 100 yards in, right?
Yeah.
um, but 308 is just proven, dude.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is proven. And most of these calibers, the new ones that are coming out they're awesome. They're super cool, but if you look at them ballistically, it's like they're just marginally better. in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things. They buck the wind better. They don't drop quite as much. But with ballistics nowadays and computers and the the quality of powder and bullets that we have nowadays, man, they'll all do the job. Just some do them slightly better than others. Like a mag round, it's a bigger round. It's going to shoot flatter. It's going to shoot better, but it's a bigger gun. It's a heavier gun. Takes a little bit more. You got to have a little bit more of a muzzle brake. It's all give and take. But 308, yeah, just works, man. It just works.
At the end of the day, it's the same bullet getting there as well,
Yeah.
right?
Still
And
175 grain piece of metal.
still, it's 175 grain piece of metal getting there, whether it's
Yeah.
going 2,000 feet per second or 2,200 feet per second. It's going to do its job when it gets there,
Yeah. As
and
long
it's
as you
going
have
to
the right
work.
shot placement, it's going to do the work. Yeah.
So, are you just a rifle hunter through and through then, since then,
Oh
or are
no.
you
No.
really?
It's fun. I shoot my bow. I'm a big archery guy. No. I shoot my rifle just enough to kind of stay proficient. I shoot guns a fair amount still, but archery is definitely my like true passion. I'd say now. I shoot my bow all the time. So,
And that's just because you've done it so. I'm kind of in this like weird phase right now. I'm kind of like evolving. I love the rifles. I went to like a 30-06 only the last couple seasons,
yeah.
just a Woodstock 30-06, and I've just killed everything I've shot. I've killed. Um, Gone away from the custom rifles. I have the custom like PRS guns, NRL guns, stuff like that. But like when I hunt, I'm using a Woodstock 30-06, and this year I'm going to a lever action 30-30 open sights for a few of my hunts just
Yeah.
for fun. And like I kind of evolved out of like the crazy wacky cartridges 'cause it's just like I don't want to say it's not a challenge, but like man, there's something to be said about like laying down 600 yards away and shooting an animal. It's just like not. It doesn't really get me off anymore. It's like it's gotten pretty easy, except for the
Yeah.
wind. I mean, it's gotten pretty darn easy.
Yeah, I'd say so for me, because I still like to shoot things from distance. Nothing crazy far. I keep it all pretty close. I'm not a 1,000 yard guy or nothing like that. Um, but when it comes to the longer range stuff, I like it because you can be a little more picky on what you shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like when I'm an archery guy, it's like you see a solid 4 point buck or something, you're like,
yeah,
I'm
you're gonna
going
get.
for it. Like
Yeah, you
it's
got
good
to.
enough. And when I have a rifle in my hand, I see a solid 4 point, and I'm like, let's try to find something a little older. You can be a little more picky and a little more challenging and a little more challenging and just in a different way. If you're in a unit that just slammers everywhere, that makes it pretty easy. But that's kind of how I like to rifle hunt and stuff. I just make it try to shoot something a little bit bigger. Like that Wyoming bull I had last year, I couldn't get it done with a bow, and then luckily Wyoming goes to rifle afterwards, and we saw lots of bulls, and I was just waiting for that one, and I hunted a lot of days until I finally ran across a good bull and finally made it work. So, but that's kind of yeah, that's how I shift the rifle to make it a little more. I don't want to say challenging because, like you say, it's easy. You're right. You get within 400 yards of a deer, and these guns nowadays,
It's
anybody
dead.
you can put anybody behind the gun and tell them to put it on the center and pull the trigger, and the deer elk's dead, like for sure.
Yeah, 400 is kind of like I kind of like that 400 mark. I like to keep it under four. I think once you get to like four, I always say like 420 is a quarter mile. Like once you get a quarter mile, things can go wrong, right? The wind
Yeah.
just starts moving a little bit more. The bullet starts dropping a little bit faster. Things just start going. But I mean, honestly, any distance now, elevation isn't the issue. It's
Hmm.
with these apps and stuff. As long as you have the correct ballistics, like you're going to be able to get your elevation fine.
Yeah.
It's the wind that gets everybody.
And I'd say the other big part too, I've seen a few times now, is the movement of the animal. You start
Yeah.
getting past that, even 500. I've seen elk get hit at 500 yards, and it's on video, and you can hear the shot break. And as soon as the shot breaks, that elk starts to rock forward, and it doesn't take them but a half step to move 12 inches, and you're
Yep.
in liver. Like so, it's not even just like if you can screw up the wind, and you can screw up. I mean, you could do everything right, and that animal could take a step at 500 yards, 600 yards, which these guns are all super capable of, and now you're in the guts. So I
Yep.
think that's one part. Because the same thing with archery. Some of the ultra long range archery shots and stuff that are the arrows in flight time of a second and a half.
Yeah.
Like you can hit this. There's guys I know that do 80 yards at a softball, but it doesn't take much for an animal to jump and spin or put their head down or take a step, and you're in the butt.
Dude, I
So
watched, I have it on video. We were over in Africa and we were all archery hunting. And you really learn how bad everybody is at archery when you have everybody shoot archery. So no offense, everybody
yeah.
else hunt, we all suck. But like, my buddy from back east, he's a phenomenal archer. And dude, like he had this wildebeest, and the wildebeest does have him not. The wildebeest knows he's there. He's pinned down. He's like, I think it was like 50 yards, and you watch him break the shot. You see where the arrow is flying in the camera, and that thing moved in 50 yards, 2 feet, hit him right in the butt. I mean, like it. You
That's a
watch
big
like,
animal.
oh, it's dude, because it just they're so much more on, like, just turned on over there. Like the animals are,
Mhm.
it's wild how I mean, when you, I guess when you have lions trying to kill you all the time, you're just more switched on. Dude, this thing jumped. It jumped the string and went forward 2 feet and got it right in the butt. And then we had to chase this thing. We found him. You know, he broke the arrow off. We found him like
Yeah,
3 hours later, shot him with a rifle at like 600 yards, something, or 500 yards. But like it just jumped, and like you look at it, and I think it was more so as being an African having so many reps, everyone's shooting. Like so much can go wrong with archery,
yeah,
especially at 70 yards, 80 yards, 90 yards. Where these people are taking these
yeah,
shots now. And it's almost like, I don't want to say you can't do it. It's just like there's a sense of this, like, it doesn't matter how you can be Bodie Turner, arguably the best archer in the world right now when it comes to compound
yeah,
bows, right?
yeah.
And I know Bodie's taking some pokes, but Bodie doesn't have a thing inside of him that makes a deer stand still.
Mhm.
And if that buck decides to move, that arrow is not going to get there when Bodie shoots it any faster than if I shoot it. He's only drawn,
Yeah.
I imagine, 70 pounds, maybe a little more.
Yeah, but even
It's
still,
like,
like, there's even if it's 310 versus 300, it's still that's the
it doesn't
time
matter.
that arrow yeah, it doesn't.
It's not gonna, it's so marginal at that distance, it's not gonna matter, right? And so I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of where I went to the whole like long range thing with the, I have the custom guns in the safe, and I'll probably build another custom gun. Honestly, I've got a 280 Acura that I'm going to tear apart and put on a chassis and put a shorter barrel on it and shoot that for a while. But like I was on an elk hunt with my kid a couple years ago, and there are these guys that shot like probably a box of ammo from like 1,000 yards away. Big fat guys from Texas, and no offense, Texas. I just never forget that. And they were just slinging lead and just missing these out, shooting at spikes. And I'm like, for one, they never would have got down to the animal. For two, it just wasn't to me. I was like, "Ah, I can do this with a 30-06." And I made the
Yeah.
switch. And it worked for everything I did, you know. So I'm just trying to do that and just kind of prove a point that, like, man, even these like factory Browning guns shoot 500 yards all day long
Oh,
now,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know,
I've
you
got
know.
that SIG 277, and that thing is I mean, it's half MOA with factory gun, factory ammo. I mean, you don't even really have to reload, hand reload. When I was growing up, my dad's a big reloader, and to get any kind of accuracy, I have a 7 mag that's sub half gun. It's all custom and everything else. Like you don't really have to do that anymore either. Like
No.
it's. I remember my first 243. That old Ruger was like an inch and a half group at 100 yards. Best day.
Yeah.
Like so 300 yards, you're starting to go, hey,
Yeah.
it's kind of pushing it. But now, man, the factory guns and factory ammo is all it's sub MOA and
Yeah. And that's a product of like Gunworks, right? So like I'm
mhm.
not knocking Gunworks, but like they came out and started making these guns that were just so next level,
Yeah,
right? But now it's to the point where I can go buy a gun for $3,000 and it'll have the same. It's the same gun as Gunworks, right? I
yeah,
mean, these guys are all running Defiance Actions now. They're all running. They're all in the barrels from Carbon Six or Proof Research or Bartline. You know, a Browning is just as accurate or damn near as accurate as a Gunworks rifle
oh
now,
yeah. You're talking
and
about
more accurate than you.
quarter
I mean,
MOA difference or
if
something.
you're under 3/4 of MOA with a rifle, factory rifle, you've got a very proficient gun out to hunting ranges. Like you don't need much more than that. You know what I
No,
mean? Like it's my biggest thing I tell people all the time. That's why we made that new. I don't know if you've seen our new bipod we have out.
mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I've seen it a little bit.
it's built for
Yeah,
all these hunting positions, right? Is go out and shoot those ranges. Like it's one thing to go down the desert and shoot 800 yards and have wind calls and have all the time in the world. It's another thing to go shoot 800 yards across the canyon with a stick up your butt and a rock in your hip, right? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just go do that and go shoot, with, downhill across canyon and then shoot that way and, see how it feels,
Updrafts and side wind and yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
just can't make the call, man. Like it's just so hard. It doesn't matter if you're the best sniper in the world. Like 800 yards is a half mile,
yeah. It
and
doesn't
that's
take
a
much to throw that bullet.
doesn't take much for that bullet. And next thing you know, you got something in the guts, and then you're shooting follow up shots, and that's what you don't see. And I don't want to knock everybody, and like I know I probably get some heat for this, but like you start talking to people who film in this industry, you're not seeing everything on film,
No, no,
right?
you
You're
don't.
not. And some of these guys who are shooting 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards in animals, you're not seeing the first or two shots, or they decided the gun in before they shot the elk, right?
Yeah,
They shot the rock off to the side. You're not seeing that stuff. You're not seeing the misses. You're not seeing the gut shots. It's just we get to decide what we show you on the internet, and you don't see
yeah.
everything that happens. They're not
Yeah,
everybody out there isn't a perfect shot.
it's definitely something I've tried to when I entered this industry, it always bugged me when, you see the guy out of the whitetail stand smoke the whitetail in the guts and say, "Oh, good shot." And then, it's 2 days later because the eyes are all wilty and they found the buck and they say how
Yep.
perfect the shot was and they never admit it. And so that's something I've definitely tried to admit on when I screw up. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes. And one of the big reasons I kind of started doing the YouTube thing and everything else is I made a lot of mistakes over the years. I've screwed up my fair share. Definitely done some dumb things that I'm not proud of, and I want to share them and shorten somebody else's learning curve of, you know, don't, don't do whatever dumb thing I've done in the past, and what gear works, what doesn't, what's a gimmick, and what actually is tried and true. And over the years, I think the grand thing of everything I've learned is there's extremes on both sides, like ultralight and then way too heavy, and
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle
Somewhere in the
works pretty
middle,
good.
dude.
Yeah, on everything. Ultralight rifle, ultralight bow, super heavy rifle, super long range, everything that's an extreme, you're probably pretty good in the middle, no matter what it is.
We should talk about that because I'm so much in that camp, right? Like I've done the like ultra. I don't I think an 8 pound rifle's perfect. Eight
I'm actually like 10. I
eight.
like a
I
10-pound
think an eight
rifle.
to ten. My rifles are
Yeah,
8.5 to 9 pounds. I think my bigger gun is like nine and a half or something. But like
yeah,
I did a 6 pound rifle. No, never you can see me carry that rifle around. Never am I
yeah,
gonna carry the rifle around with me. Like it's just that you're just not going to be able to get stable. I want to be able to put that thing
mm,
down, have it sit, right, and then
yeah,
make the shot. Right. It's just so ultralight. And then same thing when it comes to gear, right? Like I actually have gone away from like I've done the ultralight stoves, right?
mhm,
I carry jet oil now. It's
yep,
in between. You know why? Because
yeah.
the jet oil is just freaking convenient, dude.
It works every time.
Every time it works.
My jet
Every
boil is
time.
so old.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little micro pockets fall over, tip over, you spill gas everywhere. Yeah,
Dude,
you got to
they
carry the
tip
extra
over.
pot.
Yeah, the pot falls over on you. They don't cook as fast. Like,
Yeah,
yes, they're smaller. Yes, it can be ultra and compact, but dude, like, carry a jet boil. Like, I can't. Like, it's the one piece of gear I don't skimp on. Right? What's some other stuff I do?
I say
Um,
so. I'll be honest, I don't run a Tricer tripod, but I'll tell you, I've run the ultra light tripods, and I've gone to heavier just because I'm tired of that shaky, wobbly tripod. I like a little bit heavier tripod just for that same reason.
we'll get you
Like
into a Tricer because we do ultralight plus ultra stable. We'll get you into a Tricer after this call. I got a few laying on the office over here. I'll send you one.
I'll give it a whirl. My tripod's pretty stout that I carry around,
So
mostly for cameras.
we do ultra stable for before we do ultra lights. That's my rule when I create stuff. Is it has to be
Okay.
ultra stable, not ultra light. And then if I can find then once I get the stable, I can figure out how to make it light. So like that's why we invert our legs. People think we invert them for the stiffness of the legs. Yes, that's
Hmm.
part of it, but the main reason is now the aluminum is the smaller on the end, right?
Okay.
Because instead of having the fat leg at the top, how much bigger the aluminum be, you gain all that weight. So you still have the
Hmm.
same stability of the big legs with the small aluminum. That's how we keep our weight down so much.
Hmm.
So yeah, ultra stable. Like stability for me is like that's one thing I don't skip on. Right, as a tripod, obviously I own a tripod company. Is like man, like
Yeah.
if you can't kill what you can't find.
Right.
So yes, there's some guys out there that have these like 19-ounce, 16-ounce tripods, but if it's not stable, like what's the
Three
point?
wind, 3 mile an hour wind, and your binos are shaking like crazy.
Fire shaking like, and I mean,
Yeah.
no matter wind sucks, no matter what tripod you're on, right? I mean, if you get out the hills, you 10, 15, 20 miles per hour wind, you're gonna have some shake. It just is what it is,
Yeah.
right? But man, like, yeah, I don't want an ultra light tripod. I don't want
No.
one of these like pencil. I don't want a tent pole tripod. I want a tripod that is stable above everything.
Especially if you plan on shooting off of it too. So
Oh yeah,
having a whole other game there. But that was
yeah,
yeah, that was the other thing that shooting like a heavy rifle too is like I do a lot of solo hunting. I got to be
hmm
able to see my follow up shot. 6 pound rifle, you'll never see your follow up shot. I
yeah,
don't think most people see that either. That rifle's going to bounce and you're going to come back down and you're looking into a burn. You're like, which burnt tree was I just doing?
yeah, dude.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
a nice muzzle brake is worth its weight too. Like on the 30
Oh yeah.
6, I ended up spending $400 on my buddy put a custom brake on there. That thing shoots lighter than a 243 now. I can shoot that
Yeah.
thing 50 times, not even feel it. But it's $400, not like some clamp on brake, like a really nice brake.
Yeah.
It's worth its weight in gold to have a brake. The only problem is it's just freaking loud as heck. We can't have
Yeah.
silencers down here or suppressors down here.
Mm. That's another
But
game
yeah,
changer. Yeah.
dude.
Definitely got a few of those now. They're a big deal.
Yeah, I might be making the switch over to Arizona next year, live over there for a while, and like the first thing I'm buying is suppressor.
You're getting
I
it at a
cannot.
good time too, where you don't have to wait a year. You wait 8 months or whatever. I'd wait like
Dude,
8 months for my first one, a year for my next one.
dude, I need a
So,
pile of them. I need at least four suppressors. I've shot them
they're
like I've shot them a few times now. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. Because like
oh yeah,
I wear like the plastic strap around my neck, right? Like the hard band with the earplugs.
oh yeah,
Dude, half the time I don't put the damn things in. Half the time I'm
yeah,
like, oh whatever, or it's in my hoodie, and I'm just like, oh, and I don't, and you freaking blow your
yeah.
ears out with that, dude. Or something happens, right? A coyote runs up and you take a shot at it, whatever. And like, this is something that happened this year, right? Shot a coyote, and I'm like, you blow your ears out, and you're just like, gosh, dang it. Like I'm gonna end up being like my dad. I'm like, what? Huh? Those brakes. That's
Yeah.
one bang with the brakes, man. They are loud as heck.
Oh yeah.
Um, let's talk about heavier. We're talking about weighted stuff, heavy stuff. Um, one thing I do go light on is I use a small spotter now. I don't use a big spotter. I only use like a 60 mil or 65 mil spotter.
Yeah, I've never been bigger than 65. Oh no, that's not true. I guess I've run an 80 for a little while. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one because I went back and forth for a little while and I ended up landing on the 80. So that was something that was weight that I didn't mind carrying. Just that little clarity, a little
Yep.
that just was a little bit clearer.
So I've
So
got like the Kawa 554, which is a 60 millimeter spotter, and it's like
mhm.
a 17 to 45, and I feel like it's more than enough for me to figure out what I'm hunting.
Yeah. Do remember carrying that. I carried that little teeny Vortex for a little while years ago. I think it made it with me for 2 trips, and I never took it again because I was
Yeah,
like, that was waste. That was way too small.
yeah, I have that
So
56. I have one of those 56s. I'm just not the biggest fan of their glass, honestly. Um, I mean, whatever. I don't want to knock it. Vortex makes great stuff. A lot of guys who run the 56. They like the new one. The new Razor's pretty nice. The new Razor 56 is nice.
mm,
But like when you're someone like me who loves Swarovski and like the
yeah, it's hard to be that.
it's hard to. Yeah, I need to get that Swarovski 56 they have, that new one. That one would be great. But I run that Kawa 554 and I love that thing. It's just phenomenal glass. I don't do the giant spotters anymore, more so for the space, but I do carry BTX every once in a while, which is, because that's another thing people don't understand. It's not just weight, it's volume, it's space in your
Yeah,
pack, right? And that's what people don't get. And like for me, like a lot of my stuff I carry, it's a volume thing versus a weight thing because like I just don't want to have that big spotter in my bag.
yeah. Well, that spotter we were talking about a little bit earlier, it's actually gonna come out here in a couple days. It's I don't know, 12 inches long. It's teeny.
Oh, the new spotter that we're talking about, it's going to be out by
Yeah.
this time this podcast comes out, but
Yeah, I say when's this podcast coming out?
this will come
We got a
out.
couple days.
Yeah, we got more than a couple days. Yeah, come out in the end of June. It can be beginning
Okay,
of
so it's
June
like
or July. Yeah,
so it's the 19th is actually when it's coming out, that new stabilized SIG spotter. I guess I can talk about it
yeah.
next. It'll be
So
out.
if you're
But
not in the
it's
industry, you don't know about this, but SIG has a stabilized spotting scope that's coming out that everyone's been talking about forever, and it's supposed to be pretty
yeah.
sweet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to see it? We seen it?
Yeah, uh, I
Yeah.
I'll see
But
it. Let me see it. Yeah, we'll see it afterwards. It's fine. You got it right there.
yeah, I do.
Grab it. Oh,
That's
geez,
it. It's
pretty slick.
16 to 32, but it's small. And that's the reason I bring it up just because it's like the size I've been carrying that 80 mil. And the thing's kind of for the size, it's a heavier. I mean, it's got all that like um technology on the inside, so it gets a little bit heavier. But versus that 80 mil, like you're saying, it drops to the bottom of my pack and I forget it's there just because it doesn't take up any
Exactly. I
space at
like to be able
all.
to shove it in the side of my. I run straight spotters as well. I don't
Mhm.
run angled because I feel like I can only take my binos off and put a spotter on. I don't want to have to like reset my tripod.
Yeah.
So I love straight. I love straight spotters, not angled spotters, which is nice about that one. Do they make an angled as well, or just a straight?
No, it's just straight. Yeah, just straight for that one. I don't think
Seems
they'll
like
do angled with that.
I don't think they can. I don't
So
know the technology. What I can't
yeah.
wait for, and I've heard the rumor mill from Sig, is that you're able to press play and record out of your spotter soon. I've heard that's coming. And like to kind of eliminate digiscoping altogether and like not using your phone anymore, you're able to press play and have it go to your phone. Like someone needs to do it. A SIG isn't already doing it. Someone please do it. I can tell you there's like two manufacturers in Japan that make most of the spotting scopes. I can get you, if anyone wants to invest in that, do it. But man, how dope would it be to be able to press play on your spotting scope and have it go right to your phone Bluetooth?
I mean, they do it with thermals. I mean, that would
Why
be
not?
freaking sweet. That would change my game a little bit, make my life a little bit easier when I'm filming hunts.
Well, it's just the thing is like that's the thing is like everything's going so digital. Like I think you're going to see digital spotting scopes very soon. Like digital
You
digital
think?
binoculars. Like, oh, dude, why not? Like look at your camera. Look at the stabilization coming out on some of these cameras now. Because you can
Yeah.
buy some of these new. I mean, obviously they're expensive. Like some of these like $15,000 lenses from Nikon, where you can have an 800 millimeter lens
Yeah.
and you could freehand it and get birds in the air, fully stabilized. Like that technology, this isn't like new technology that Sig has. Like this is
Yeah.
technology. Like I've been using stabilized binos for 20 years in
Hmm.
California fishing, tuna fishing. Just
Hmm.
they're just doing it smaller. It's kind of like tripods. Everyone's like, I can't believe you did this. And it's like, well, dude, no one. It's been available. You just need to just do it, right? Like
Yeah.
so, they're bringing it out and they're making it more available to people. So yeah, I think it'd be really cool to have that. Um, so yeah, I like the small spotter. I do, but I do carry a lot of optics. I do carry like two pairs of binos and a spotter when I go. So I guess I can. I always carry a larger pair of binos, like a 14. Carry eights on my
Yeah.
chest, and then I carry. Well, I was 15s forever. Now I'm carrying the 14s, and then I do carry a little spotter most of the time. Like I'm gonna go do. We're gonna go scout goats next month in Colorado with my buddy Ed, and I'll carry. That'll be what I'll have. I'll have eights on my chest, 14s in the pack, and then the little spotty scope as well, just so I can confirm what we're looking at for animals.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the way to do it. Yeah, I swap out. I don't carry the two binos, but I always swap out either 10s, 12s, something, and then the spotter. But I'm always swapping binos for the trip, really. Elk, I'm okay with 10s because they're big, yellow, and stupid, and they're really easy to spot. But deer, 12s, 15s, something along those lines.
Yeah, if I
So
was doing elk, I'd probably just be 14s and eights. I wouldn't carry a spotter. Right, depends on what I'm doing. Like elk,
yeah.
I my eights also have rangefinder in them, so I like that.
Do you like doing that? Oh, you do like doing that with archery with that?
Not with archery.
I
No, with
was gonna
archery I
say,
don't. With archery, I'm gonna go. I'll go with my SIGs, my
huh?
like the 16, the stabilized binos, and I'll
Yeah.
go with a rangefinder because like my anything under like 30 yards, it's so hard to get with the binoculars.
Never done the range finding binoculars for archery. I agree with you. I've had a lot of people ask me about it. I always kind of steer them away from it. I've never done it, but I never thought it'd be a good
I
idea
don't
trying
like
to
it. It's
lug
too hard to
those.
do it. It's too hard. I
Yeah.
like the eights. I mean, like honestly, like I run eights and I feel like I'm just as stable as with my SIGs because I
Hmm.
can. They're a bigger field of view and the optics are just the glass is just so much better in a Swaro than a just SIG stabilized bino, right?
Yeah.
I do like those stabilized binos. I run them for a lot of stuff. I'm a snob. I'm a big Swirl guy. I like good. I spend 10 hours a day in
Yeah.
glass. I want it to be really good glass. It's
Me.
my
Yeah.
most used item, right? So I tell people all the time, like your tripod is your most used item in your backpack, hands down. Like people like
Yeah.
they go buy a $6,000 rifle and don't have a crappy tripod. I'm like, dude, you're gonna spend so much more time behind your tripod than you are on anything else. Like, don't
Yeah.
chintz out on that. Um, what about weight stuff? So let's talk about shelters.
Okay.
So I go back and forwards, right? Like I'm almost I really like my Hellebergs. They weigh a little bit more, but man, they're just bomb proof, right? Like it's like a 4 pound setup now for like I think it's my Anion, a two
Yeah.
person tent with a GT out the front. And I know I have like the floorless seek outsides. I do wear those. I run those a lot, like especially if I have bigger people with me. But man, like there's something about having a little bit more of a secure shelter that I like more than a floorless tent. What's your take on that?
I'm gonna follow this guy for a long time.
Are you?
Um, Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a pain. Like I said, I do a lot of solo stuff, so I'm there's definitely some places where I count a few ounces, and floorless is definitely one of the ones where it doesn't bother me at all to sleep on the ground. And on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, when it starts getting cold, I do carry a stove to
Like
warm
stove.
myself up. I don't know if I'm kind of a sissy or what, but like when it starts, when my couple times I woke up, my boots are frozen. Like like I need something to heat that back up. And trying to put your feet into icicle boots is not very much fun. So when it's hot, I like the floorless because you can lift that tent off the ground a little bit, get a little bit of airflow underneath that
Mm-hmm.
tent. And then, in the winter times, early spring and then late hunts, you can drop that thing to the ground and put a stove in there and now you're up to the weight of what a Hillburger would be
You'd be the
with the
same
stove and
weight.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get warmth. So for me, that's kind of a big deal. I like the stove. I like that heat in the morning and at night when you're hanging out, especially those really late hunts in November when you got, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, 10 hours of daylight, and then you're spending hours and hours inside your tent because it's just dark all the time. I bet you, yeah, November we must have feels like it doesn't get late till or doesn't get light till 8 and you're done by 4:30 or something like that. It feels like in Idaho.
The
So
exact
days are
opposite of
short.
my bear hunt last week, where it was light from 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. We got to
Yeah.
sleep like 3 hours a night. The exact opposite. Yeah, I'm probably 50-50 floorless versus non floorless. Like when I go to Alaska this year, I'm probably my Hilleberg, my bigger, my
Yeah.
3 person, but I think I'm going to cut a stove jack into it. Don't tell Petra. In Hilleberg. So, I know they don't recommend it, but they're going to buy a stove jacket, cut a stove jacket into it. 'Cause I like having a stove as well.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, if I'm going to be in Alaska, dropped off by an airplane for 10 days, I just know that I know that I know that I might have no issues with my Hellberg. Right. And
Yeah,
plus, that's not a, that hunt right there doesn't matter on weight because I'm getting dropped off. I'm not going to be backpacking anywhere.
that's fair.
Um, but I do a lot in like the Cafaro Super Tarp, which I love
Mhm.
that thing, and that's like a two-person shelter tarp. And I actually have a stove jack for that as well. I haven't run a stove in it because just I'll kind of use it when it's more springy, um, early season. And I like that shelter. I do have a Seek Outside Silver Tip, which is like a two-man teepee, and I have like the Seek Outside Twilight floorless. So I do 50-50 floorless and non-floorless. I just feel like, I don't know, I kind of like having a floor, kind of like not being dirty, but at the same time, I do like cooking in my tent. I do like spitting. I do like digging a hole and spitting my freaking toothpaste out now to get out of the tent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a
So
couple shirts get ruined. I woke up. I remember, I think it was last year when I was bear hunting. I woke up and I had my sweaty shirt draped over my rifle, trying to air it out over the night. And I woke up to, I don't know, I think it had probably 15 holes in it. There was a rat or something right next to my head all night chewing on my shirt. So there's definitely downfalls of a of a floorless. You're in there with
yeah,
all the critters. There's nothing, you know. I woke up this year. I had a couple ticks on me this year when I woke up. Like, like it kind of sucks, but that part is, I don't know.
what's your
I'm when
go go to shelter?
I the super depending if it's just me, I'll do the super tarp. If it's me and somebody else, I'll do the sawtooth. So
Okay,
yeah, the
yeah,
super tarp, it's just a little bit heavy. It's just. I think I call that a one person shelter, and maybe two if you're really friendly with somebody. But
yeah,
the sawtooth is just a little bit heavier, and if you're back there for a few days, I like a little more room. You got
yeah.
plenty of room at your feet. You can sit inside the sawtooth. Sit up at night, if you're getting rained out or whatever, I think it's a little more comfortable and not really that much heavier.
And they're
But
both Cafaro, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I do I got that new Twilight tent, which I really like. So it's like a it's a 4-man tent, but you can do three guys in there no problem. And it's got like almost like a wall tent style walls on it now. So it's like a little bit straighter. So
Oh,
you don't get
that's
that.
the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's new and I really like it. And then it's got a big in the front, it's got a big vestibule, right, to put your gear
Mhm.
in. I really like that shelter that Seek Outside came out with last year. I
I'll
read it
check
on a
that
few.
one out.
It's super light, and I have a floor for it as well, so you can run the floor as well. So if you're going two guys, you can split the weight up. It's not too bad to carry. Even with the floor, I think it's only 3 pounds with the floor.
Dang.
Without the floor, it's lighter, maybe a little bit more, but it's. I know it's under 4 pounds for sure. And then you can carry a stove. Like if you have, that's cool about when you carry bigger shelters when you're doing people. You can be like, hey, you carry the stove. Stove's 3 pounds, or two to 3 pounds, right? And then you carry the shelter, and someone else carries the pole, and you kind of bring it in there and make it happen. And it is
Yeah,
kind of more like a party thing. It is nice having a big shelter like that to sit in and be in and have the stove going and be cooking in there and not have to freaking be outside and do everything outside. It's nice having that big shelter. You get so much more headroom too.
yeah, yeah. And when I go to the Yukon this year, I know they'll be doing a lot of the Hilleberg stuff and like that. So that'll be kind of my first time in those style tents. So I've done the super ultralight Big Agnes ones but they about blow off the freaking mountain. So once I switched to floorless, I never kind of ever tried the Hilleberg ones because floorless always works. So this will be my first year actually I get to try that style tent.
Yeah,
So
they're just bomb proof. It's just like you just know I mean, they're built to go to freaking Everest, right? Like they're built for the
yeah,
North Pole. They're built for that. So like you just know you're not gonna have an
yeah,
issue. Like I've been in 60-mile-per-hour winds in my Hilleberg and just like I'm fine. You know what I mean? And I run the lighter one most of the time, and which is not made for that stuff. And I'll run it in the snow and everything, and haven't had an issue with it, and it just works.
I
But
went to Nevada it was a few years ago now. I went to Nevada. I had one of those. I guess it's probably been like 6 or 7 years now. But went to Nevada and had one of those little single man Big Agnes or whatever the heck it was,
dude, screw
super cheap
that,
light ones. It was windy, and that tent was folded over onto my face. It didn't shred, but those poles weren't stiff enough to keep the freaking tent flat. The only thing that was holding it to the ground was me. So
dude.
it was a
Those
miserable
lightweight
night.
those lightweight shelters are built for summer camping, built for summer
Yeah,
backpackers. They're not built for what we do. Hunters
no,
don't go. We're not hunting off a trail. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Stuff goes wrong. Like you just don't go by like a tiger wall, a big Angus tiger wall, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like that's
yeah,
it's gonna be like the spring bluebird weather. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a super light tent, but man, I want something that I know like I can survive in. Right, and that's my
yeah,
biggest thing is I wanna make sure I'm okay, and I know you can do that in teepees, like, I mean, like, Lampers and those guys, they love the teepees, right? Brian Call, love the teepees, but it's like, dude, like, they have to do so much work to make it work sometimes with rocks, and it's like
Yeah,
something about a freestanding shelter that you can just put up, and they don't take as much space up, right? As a teepee does need some space. You need a good
yeah.
area for a teepee to get up.
That's the one downfall of the sawtooth is it's pretty challenging to find that big of a flat spot
I mean,
to
you
make
always need
that
like a
thing work.
12 by 12 space for that thing, right? I mean, 10 by 10 probably to get the thing.
The sawtooth is like it's kind of that oblong shape. It's shaped like a normal tent. It's
Okay.
not like a teepee, so it's tall in the front and then it kind of tapers to the back. If I remember right, it's like 18 feet long or something like that,
Oh,
and like
geez.
10
Yes,
feet wide. It's big, but
you need a giant space.
yeah, you do definitely set that
Yes,
thing
bro.
up on some hillsides and it works, but it's kind of funky.
Um, So I like that one. I really like the super tarp like you talked about. So it's kind of like a dual purpose tarp. So when I go to this goat guy next month, I'll bring my super
Mhm.
tarp because you're in the mountains. You can throw your tarp up, run your tarp. You can use your trekking poles to pitch the stupid thing, which is nice. And they're pretty spacey. It's like spatial inside. And then do you
Yeah,
have I have the vestibule for mine as well to like put a stove in it. But I've never
I
done
do.
that.
Yeah. I've
If
never
you
used a
run
stove for that one. It's never been cold enough for when I'm running that little tent. But if it's that cold, normally I'm running with somebody else, and I've got the
bigger tent.
sawtooth, and it's yeah. So
Yeah.
it
When I am
doesn't take much to fill those things up, especially when you start getting some cold weather gear and puffies and all kinds of stuff. So
I do feel like a tarp is always in my pack no matter what. So that's why I
really,
kinda like super tarp. You don't have a
yeah.
tarp in your pack all the time?
No, I don't. I always,
Really?
I almost took it for a bear hunt this year, and then I left it in the truck last minute. Like, yeah, I don't.
Wha
I've taken it. If I hunt out of the truck, I'll have it to like, I hunted Nevada a couple years ago and the tarp was like necessary, but we weren't hunting deep or anything like that. We were hunting off roads and just sitting off the side of the road and side next to side by side, the tarp was necessary because you sat and there just wasn't any trees and any of the glassing spots. So for like to have the shade it was completely necessary.
Oh, you're saying for shade,
Um,
yeah.
oh yeah, for shade. Like in the rain, I would go find a tree and hunker down, like whatever, like throw my rain gear on and hide behind a rock or something like that until it passes. If it's that bad, I'm going back to the shelters. You can't do anything anyways. But yeah, I think I use a tarp. I've used a tarp more for shade than I have for weather. Maybe once or twice for
Mm.
snow, but yeah, I don't carry it very often. That's what
I
rain
only have
jackets
it
are
for
for.
weather, not for, I hate sitting in a rain jacket in the rain. Like, I'm just like, I'd rather put a tarp up, like, but I don't
Yeah,
carry that super tarp all the time. I'll carry a lighter tarp. I'll carry, like I have, like,
yeah,
a REI, I think it's, like, their quarter dome or something. I don't know what it is. It weighs, like, 14 ounces or something. It's in my
yeah,
pack, throw it up. Now, if I'm running super tarp, I'll have that one instead. But I like having a tarp because, man, there's nothing better than when it's raining or if you can get that thing set up and you sit under it and make a little fire and you kinda get through, 6 hours of rain, especially somewhere, up in
yeah.
Idaho where it can rain all day.
That's bear season for us, man. It's either raining or it's 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That's either it's
That was
been,
my
but
last week, 90 degrees the whole time. We had a tarp for no reason.
yeah, my last hunt was bad, but I kind of know that area pretty well where I know all my glassing points have trees. But I went like maybe 2 weeks ago and it was blistering hot. Like, it was
Yeah, we were at
bad.
the same time. We went up 2 weeks ago, me, Cody, and, Brad Hunt, and it was like I got one opportunity to bear in a week. It was
Oof.
so hot.
I couldn't
So
turn anything.
hot,
I
dude.
just sows and cubs and dinks. I
We
couldn't turn up
saw
a
we saw
good
we
bear.
saw 10 bears total, one a couple of boars that were just too far away. It was like, you might as well not even seen them. And they had
Mhm.
one boar that we got close, but it was like he was on the move and it's like right pre-rut right there. He's moving around. Like it was
Yeah.
like by the time we got closed the 1,000 yard gap, he was probably a mile away. You know what I mean? Like we were hoping he was gonna stay right there and he
Yeah.
just didn't. He was just doing that bear thing where they kind of just like go, it's like all over
Yeah.
the place and it's like just no rhyme or reason to him. It's kind of like javelina. It's kind of like good luck patterning me. Took off
The
and did it.
pros and cons of hunting bears in the rut. You see a ton of them because they're always moving. It seems like it doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees outside. The bears are moving in the middle of the day, but you just watch them just start one ridge and then they're gone out of your life.
It's like trying to catch an elk, right? Like good
Yeah. Oh
luck trying to
yeah.
catch an elk, dude. Like they look like they're these giant animals. They just once they start going, it's just a slow track that you're never gonna catch them on.
Oh, never. Their walking pace is so fast.
All right, so we got the shelter down, back and forth on that one. We still haven't agreed. I'm probably right, but just joking. We got the shelter down. What about like sleeping pad? I do have I love my Xtherm. I
Mhm.
do have like some of the yellow. I always thermarest. I'm a thermarest guy. I want a heavier pad. Like I don't do ultra light pads. Do not like I
Yeah.
don't do like 10 ounce stuff. I have like what's like the thermarest like the Neo Air the yellow ones.
Mhm.
Those ones work really
That's the
good.
I rock that one a lot.
And then what I went to now is like a 4 inch thick, like 2 foot wide, 84 inch long thermarest. And it's like 16 ounces. It's heavy. I'm not gonna maybe it's 18 ounces.
How big?
It's
Or
big. It's like 18 ounce.
it's gotta be, it's gotta weigh more than that, doesn't it?
No, I think
I thought
it
that
might be
Neo,
20 ounces. It's not more than 20 ounces. It's not that heavy.
no? Oh,
But
okay, that's not
dude,
bad. 'Cause I thought that
it's
Neotherm is like 16, I thought. Like the little
mm,
yellow one?
maybe I'm
Is
20
it
ounces. I
lighter?
don't know. Whatever it is, it's big. But dude, I sleep so good. And so like I know it weighs a little bit more, but man, like I think people don't realize how important sleep is when you're hunting
Oh, yeah.
and like a good night's rest. Like I carry a pillow. I would carry just like the freaking whatever that Sea to Summit 2 ounce
Mhm.
pillow. Like I will never not have a pillow in my pack. Like I know you can do your puffy, but dude, I carry a pillow because I want to sleep and I want to sleep good.
I use the puffy. I don't like the air pillows.
You don't like
I
them?
think they're so uncomfortable. I feel like you move your head and your head just rocks. There's not like a pillow where it kind of like settles in, like the air. It's like
Yeah, I
it
do agree
just
with that.
tosses. I've tried that a few times, but I end up using my puffy most of the time. But
See,
yeah,
I
the
don't
only
do.
time I know I'm bummed when it's cold and I'm wearing my puffy.
See, I can do the puffy if it's in like a stuff sack or in like a
Hmm.
game bag because I reuse my
Yeah.
game bags too. That's something people don't realize too. You can reuse your game bags for a lot of stuff. So I'll hang food in my game bags.
Hmm.
I store food in my game bags and bring them in. You know, instead of using a stuff sack, like I kind of repurpose those. So you can put a puffy
Yeah.
in that. My problem with a puffy is like it flattens out on me because I move so much that
Yeah.
I like having the pillow. Like we'll get into that too. So like I like a bigger pad now. So I do like a bigger pad, and I do like even my Neo Air one is like the extra large, the long one, because I'm just like I'm 6 foot tall. I want to move around. I do a quilt, which saves me some weight. So
Mm.
do you quilt a sleeping bag?
I'm a sleeping bag guy.
See,
I've
so we're
did the yeah. Quilt. I just I don't know. I couldn't. I tried. I mock tried it. I guess to say it wasn't perfect. But instead of spending the money on it, I just opened my sleeping bag one night and kind of laid in it like that and kind of draped it over me and see if I did it. And then I found out I move a ton at night. I kicked that thing off of me and it kept drafting up. And I know you can tie them down and stuff like that to
I
make them
never tie
help,
mine
but
down.
no, you just lay there and just don't move.
No, I move like crazy. I just don't have a problem with it. I don't know.
Huh.
I've run so that's where so I can run the heavier packs. I'm running a quilt, right? So like because
Mm.
like you, so I've ran the same Enlightened Equipment 10-degree quilt now for geez 8 years. I think I've washed it twice. I don't even know. One time my kid washed
Seasoned.
it. One time my kid washed it. I was so pissed. He threw it in the washing machine. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it was all the feathers were the bottom. I thought it was ruined. I was able to get it saved, but a bunch of tennis balls in the dryer. But I probably washed it more than that. I've washed it in the bathtub. I'll do the bathtub or the swimming pool and wash it out. You know, try and get the
Hmm.
dirt out of it because they are pretty gross.
Yeah.
But I love
Especially
the
after 10
quilt.
days of hunting.
Oh yeah, you smell
Yeah.
so bad, dude. Like you smell. We smelled so bad last week. 90-degree weather. Just dude,
Oh man.
you smell
I
so.
made
And you
it
walk
in to
into. Oh,
first glassing point. I sat down and I was like, I'm 6 hours in this hunt, and I was like, I can't even still stand to smell myself already. It was bad. It
oh,
was
dude, we were
so
like a
hot,
mile
man.
from the truck, and I'm like, Cody, you smell already. No, oh, dude, it was because it was so hot, dude. You couldn't help but to
Yeah.
sweat, and you're like sweating, soaking
Oh.
into your freaking merinos, and just oh, dude, the ball sweat's the worst. Like anyone who hunts a lot knows it. Like you go to take a leak, and you're like, oh god, I smell so bad.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, I smell so bad. Like it's just like I love the dude wipes are a man's best friend out there, man. Taking that dude wipe shower. I like doing little like Dr. B's or whatever that soap. Bring that with you as well.
Oh really?
Oh, dude, if you wash
Never
like
done that.
a little bottle of that, go to a stream and just put
Yeah.
some of that in your hair, get that tea tree in your hair. Oh, do you feel like a new man?
I've definitely taken my fair share of creek baths, but I never brought soap for it.
Oh, just bring a little bit of Dr. B's, like day 4 or 5, put that thing in your hair, and you get that. You know, the tea tree that has like that tingle to it. You know,
Yeah.
you feel so clean, you feel so good.
Yeah. 4-inch pad, tea tree soap. Man, you're kind of bougie, aren't you?
I'm getting there. I'm getting older. I'm almost 40, bro. But I've got this. I'm saving weight because my. So keep in mind that Align Equipment quilt weighs like
Yeah.
18 ounces. I think it's like
Yeah.
18 or
That's
20
fair.
ounces, and it's a 10-degree quilt, right? So I can save weight there on that, right?
That's
Um,
fair.
I am using like a Tyvek tarp now for my base. I used to use like a regular tarp, and I use a Tyvek, which is kind of nice.
Hmm.
So what do you
Yeah, I've
use
been
for?
doing. If I'm tarping, it's Tyvek. I've been doing Tyvek since I was like a Boy Scout when I was like 12 years old. I remember like I just had a freaking Scoutmaster back in my day show me how to sleep in a Tyvek burrito, and almost my entire Boy Scout career, I slept in a freaking Tyvek burrito. That was my
Really?
tent. Yeah, I
That
just
was your
breated
shelter?
myself up in Tyvek. Yeah, that thing was seasoned. It didn't even make any noise anymore. It was so worn.
They're so crinkly. They're so
Oh, they're
crinkly. You gotta
so
wash
loud.
them.
Yeah.
Mine's breaking in. I bought a brand new one for the season. And I'm like, oh, it's gotta break in. It's pretty
Yeah, your
noisy.
kid just roll it up and unroll it 50 times a day until it breaks in and it's not so bad.
Oh, they do.
So,
They weather almost like leather. You know what I mean? Like once they get
yeah,
done, they're like kind of like weathered in, but it just takes some time to get there. Right now, it's just crinkly. But
yeah,
yeah, so I like having Tyvek for the base. It's nice. I try and do a wider one, right? So I think mine's like 3 foot. I just feel like you move around too much, and you just don't want your stuff hitting the dirt. There's nothing worse than a popped. And even with Tyvek, like I put the Tyvek down and I rub my hand over the Tyvek, right? Because like that way I can just feel anything sharp. Anything sharp, I'm picking the thing up, pulling it out because it will pop your pad.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had pretty good luck with that so far.
Yeah,
I got like one patch on my pad and I've had it for like 5 or 6 years.
yeah. I
So,
have one patch on my Neo Air, but my Xtherm, dude, it's gross. I've had that thing for over 10 seasons. I blow it up with my mouth. I actually went to look at more bougie. Like I never had a hole in that thing. I went to one of
yeah,
those freaking pumps, dude. I got one of those little
little
pumps now.
electronic ones.
Oh, dude, like it's like because like do you blow yourself with your mouth or do you use like the whole
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
I
don't
blow it
do
up. Yeah.
yeah, I just blow it up. Like I want when my Xterm finally goes out, I want to cut it open and see what's inside of it. Because I want to see if it's real, like the
It's
whole like
mold.
mold thing. It's gotta be so bad. It's gotta be so disgusting.
Yeah, you can't dry that out in there at all.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's gotta be so disgusting in there. But I actually got one of those pumps because that 4 inch pad's pretty big, dude. I'm so winded. You're up at 10,
You
12,000
start
feet
passing out.
trying to blow that thing out. You're passing out, but you can share. That's one thing you can share, right? You pass around the little pump and do it. They weighs
Oh, yeah.
nothing. And Remy Warren uses one. So like once I heard Remy did it, I was like, oh, if Remy's doing it, I
You
can use
feel,
it, right? Because
you
Remy's
feel
way
tough
more.
still.
I still tough, so if Remy's using it, right?
Does it match your
Um,
purse too? No.
Match my purse. It does, dude. It does. So I'm still using ultralight stuff. I mean, I'm not that heavy. We're probably the same weight right now, right? I
No,
think
I
I was
know.
doing my
I'm
math.
just
I
messing
think
with
I'm
you.
like 29 pounds for food and water is kind of like my thing. We had an app going this morning. I was looking at it.
It's
Um,
it's funny. One thing I get help for from a few of my friends is trekking poles. People make fun of me for using trekking poles a lot. I'll never leave those things
oh,
behind. Those things
you could do
saved my life.
so much stuff with them, dude. Like so much stuff with them. Like when we were this last week hunting, I swear you were crawling half the time. It was so steep. Like having trekking
Oh
poles
yeah.
coming down, especially in the
What state were
dark.
you in? If you don't mind me
Uh,
asking.
Montana.
Montana. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
said
it was
Idaho's
steep.
the same way.
We were
Idaho's some nice stuff,
very,
man.
very close to Idaho. We could
Yeah.
throw a rock into Idaho. Let's put it that way.
It's
Um,
that steep country. It's big.
it's so steep, and having trekking poles and just putting them almost all the way down so you can just freaking climb up with that thing,
Mhm.
dude. And then like the best thing is like when you do finally kill an animal, and you can do that whole like lay against your trekking pole thing, you know, and you get the heavy pack on, and you put the weight on the oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's the best. I love that. So trekking poles are always in my bag. Um, I do run a little bougie trekking pole. I run the Black Diamond, the carbon ones they have, carbon
That's
summits
what
or
I run
whatever.
too. Yeah.
I mean, they're 200 something bucks, but dude, I've never had one break, and I've broken bent a lot of trekking poles, and those ones just have always lasted. All my buddies who run them for the same, never had a problem with them, so I run those trekking poles.
Yeah,
I have
mine
some,
basically don't have any paint left anymore. I've used them so much. One thing I'll say to people out there is don't buy those damn Z pole ones. Have you run those
yeah,
before?
yeah. I
Dude, they
know I never
break.
use them because they break,
Oh,
and
they're
then
so
also
bad.
like they're not as like I want multi-purpose products, right? So I want to be able to like set my tent up with them or set my tarp up with them, and
Mhm.
like you kind of get limited with those poles because you're kind of limited to the height of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I used them for I don't know maybe a season, and I blew out one of the sides because there's just not enough purchase to like where they connect, or the wire breaks and some of them they don't last for anything. So anybody listening to those, don't buy those.
So the
They're gonna
same thing.
break on you.
So like I know guys who run them because like a lot of times you don't run your trekking poles, right? Like you just have them in your pack all the time. So it's kind of nice to have that
Yeah.
for that reason. But like what people don't realize is like where we hunt, right? It's very steep. When you're gonna break a pole, it's not because you're breaking on flat land. It's because you're falling and having to put
Hmm.
your like you have 80
You need
pounds on
it.
your you need it, and that's when I've broken
Yeah.
poles. Right? Is like I probably would break any pole. I think I've broken like 3 pairs of poles over the years, or bent them, and most of the time they replace them.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you lose your balance and your pack is now going. So you got all the weight on you, and you're rolling, and you put your hand down, and the pole will catch, but it'll save your freaking ass, dude. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean? Like it's like yes, you broke a pole, but at least you made it. Like, but you want to have the strongest pole possible for that situation. That's going to take the most bend and flex because it's the force of that. It's all that leverage of your pack coming down on it and doing it. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah. I'll
trekking
tell you
poles are a must.
one
Huh?
other hard lesson I learned to do with trekking poles. You guys to start somewhere. I don't know where it is, but the hand straps.
Hmm.
Don't use those. I've done it twice now, where you go to fall and you have to let go of your trekking pole to catch yourself. And if you have your hand strap in the trekking pole, that trekking pole hits the ground and ends up acting like a lever, and you can only go so where because that trekking pole lands and it acts like a pivot point. So you
Huh.
can't put your hand where you want it to go because the trekking
Oh,
pole is in the
yeah.
way. And so actually it's happened to me twice now. I think it's actually might be covered up with my tattoos now, but I swung and slammed my wrist down on top of a rock, and it was a big old cut. And I remember I had like sat there and just like held it until my buddy caught up with me because I thought I was like, I'm gonna die. Like it was bleeding pretty bad, and
Mhm.
like it was pretty nasty. I've done that twice where I've really kind of messed myself up because my hands were inside those straps. So I don't run those straps anymore ever. They're little death traps to me now. So
Really? I like the
yeah,
straps.
I
Man, I
don't
never
use them.
thought of
I
that.
can't.
I know what you're talking about because 'cause I've
Like,
had that fall thing where your hand is stuck in there and you kinda have that whole pivot thing, I know what you're
hmm
talking about, but, like, I, like, lock it in, like, I do, like, half the strap, you know what I mean? Like, the way you're supposed to
yeah,
do it, I guess, but
I remember using it and putting it right like that base of your hand. You know, you
yeah,
kind
right
of
there,
have
'cause
that
it
like
gives you the extra
platform.
force coming up, because it's a
Uh-huh.
part that helps you kinda climb, right? Because people don't
Yeah.
realize, like, trekking poles kind of like I don't know the math on it, they probably take 30% off your load. I mean, it is you're using your arms as well as your legs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know after like hard climbs, if you have like a big pull out of the bottom and you're using trekking poles, like the next day my forearms are sore, my lats are sore because you're pulling so hard.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that's for me. Like my lats and my forearms get smoked just because I'm using trekking poles that much. So I know they do a lot of work if you're getting sore from using them. So,
Yeah.
but they've saved me a bunch. I'm sure my knees are still intact today because of trekking poles. I've taken some nasty falls and they've saved me quite a few times.
Oh, it is save you, it's
So,
catch you. So what about, water? So I'm kind of, like, all over the place on water.
okay.
I always have a thing of pills in my bag, no matter what. There's always pills in my pack. This is
Yeah.
the little ones that, you use every couple seasons if something goes wrong. I was running, like, an MSR, like, microlight pump filter. Don't like it. I switched over to MSR gravity filter, and I
Okay.
love that thing. And it's like a 10-liter
It's just a
bag,
big bag. Yeah.
and I'll bring, like, 3 what I'll do is I'll bring, like, 2 6-liter drama lights and 1 4-liter drama light, and I'll have, like, you carry one. So this is one of the things you're sharing weight with, right?
Yeah.
And I'll use that, and I'll just fill 16 liters up when I get to camp. And like, I love that setup. It's awesome. But at the same
It,
time, like, the Steri-Pin's pretty bitching if there's a lot of water around. So where are you at with
yeah.
water?
I have another stereo pen. One because I actually had a buddy I went on a bear hunt with this year. His battery died, so luckily I had a filter. Um, but he actually had two batteries die. He put another one in. I think might be something wrong with it. I'm not really sure. But the first one died. He put a new one in, and then that one died after like one use or something like that. Even though he
Mhm.
said he had that other battery in there forever and it was fine. So something went wrong with that. So stuff for batteries for me. I don't know. I've never used them. The stereo pen. They weird me out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a mental thing, I think. But
I
so I
just
actually
used it for
used,
the first time 2 weeks ago, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm kind of into it. Like, keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I use it's a platypus. Let's see, what's it called?
The squeeze?
It's the squeeze one where
Uh-huh.
it's like because like
Yeah.
the Sawyer squeeze,
Yep.
but the Sawyer squeezes they kind of suck. So
Mhm.
they're so slow. And then the
Yeah.
bags that come with the Sawyer squeezes pop on the first trip. They're garbage. But the platypus, whatever one they make, the one it's basically a squeeze one. It's like 3.5 ounces or something like that. Then it has a bag, and I've been using that forever now. And that thing just sits in the bottom of my pack. The only thing you got to worry about is like if it's if it gets below freezing, you got to throw it in your sleeping bag with you to make sure the filter doesn't freeze. But I've been using that forever, and it's I feel like I can get a liter out of it in like 30 seconds. They're so
Really.
fast. Yeah, and they're just fill them up, and you can just wrench on them. I haven't popped a bag or nothing yet. And then the other thing I kind of like about it too is the one bougie thing I got is I always have coffee with me. I always have a
Yeah.
coffee in the morning, so I'll fill that thing up. I'll fill that little bag that it comes up with, and then I take it up the mountain with me, get to my glassing point, and then I can filter my water and then cook it for coffee, and it's just kind of handy. You can take that little bag with you to have. I'll have an Nalgene, my Camelback, and then I'll have my extra water because I don't know what it is about me, but I feel like I drink more water than anybody else I know. Like I can go through 4 liters of water in a day, no problem.
Yeah,
But
I'm like
if
a
I do,
3-liter guy. 3 liter a day is kind of get me today.
oh, I drink so much water. I feel like I have to. I don't know. I just sweat more than everybody else. I don't know what it is, but I know other guys will go through a half a liter a day, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a hunt like a backpack hunt, I guess I'll bring those MSR bags if I'm in a spot where I'm going to be away from water and you just
The
want to take
drama
one
light
trip.
bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll bring
I
those if I know I'm going to
love
be away from water.
pumping water
But if I'm not right
sucks.
next to a creek, I'll just I don't bring like the bear hunt. I'm right next to a creek on the bear hunt, and I just bring Camelback, Nalgene, and then the little bag for my filter, and that's it. So
Yeah, we rocked the Steri pin in Montana, and I was pretty into it because I was like, oh, you do have some floaters. I mean, there's some times like we had filter out of a river one time, and it
yeah,
was chocolate. It was chocolate milk. We are drinking. You got to get over. You got to get your head over on that. Like you're going to be drinking some
yeah.
floaters, but like once you don't care about that, like it's fine. I
Still
wouldn't want
extra
to do it like in
minerals
a.
as well, right?
I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah, there's some hippies that pay a lot of money for that water. Trust me. So yeah, so I like that. I like that. I one thing I like about the gravity filters, I like just getting it done. 16 liters done. Back to camp.
Yeah,
Here's 16 liters. You can run it for 2 days, 3 days on that. Good to go. And then obviously the little pump filters, I don't like them. Like they just take
yeah,
too long. It's a pain in the butt. You gotta like put a rock on it, get it down in there. You're pumping and pumping and pumping, and it's just it
yeah.
works. It's just not my thing. I've got one here. If everyone wants it, call me. I
I
got one
can't
in
believe
my
those
shed.
things. From some of the other filters I've used anymore, I can't believe think they even sell those anymore. They're such a pain in the butt, and they're so slow,
They're
and they're
so
just
slow, dude.
yeah, and
It
they
takes
jam
forever to
up,
pump.
and
Yeah, it takes forever. I can't take the gravity filter. I do need to, you know, backflow it a couple times to get it to work right.
yeah.
Um, but I'm a fan of
I like
them.
that for big groups. If
Yeah.
you're hunting for 3 or 4 people, you hang that bag in a tree and
Oh
have a
yeah.
little on-off switch, and I like that for
When we go to Alaska, I'll bring all that with me because I mean Alaska's great, right? It's just you're
Mhm.
gonna be right on the lake right there. We're gonna be fishing. We'll gravity filter everything, be easy,
Yeah,
set it up. So let's get into coffee because now dude. I feel like I'm getting heavier and heavier as the older I get. I'm getting more. So, dude, if you ever use an Aeropress,
yeah. My brother has one. Yeah, my brother's kind
bro,
of bougie too. No,
bro, like I went hunting with Cody Rich because I've always been like a Folgers tea bags guy. I use the
okay,
Folgers tea bag, the coffee bags, because like I don't
uh-huh.
like even like the Black Rifle or the Starbucks instant coffee. Like it
Mhm.
tastes like instant coffee to me. I don't like that, right? And
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do a pour over. Like I'm not gonna be that hardcore. But dude,
that's what.
you do pour over?
Have you heard of what is it? Totally dark timber, little pour over bags.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But those are expensive.
Yeah, they are
Dude.
expensive.
So this
Yeah.
AeroPress doesn't weigh that much, dude. It's
Okay.
I use an AeroPress for everything now at home. I haven't had since Montana 3 weeks ago. I've only drinking AeroPress coffee. You literally like make an espresso shot in this thing, and you pump it through into your cup and then put hot water in there. And you almost like an Americano.
Okay.
And dude, it it's awesome. You bring your coffee. Like I'm going to be carrying this thing with me. I have a little kit. I'm going to be carrying it with me. It doesn't weigh nothing. You have like the best coffee. Like you take a drink of this. You drink this coffee and you're like, holy crap, I'm jacked. Like it's strong, dude. The
I
Aeropress
definitely
mic.
have to get a link of that. No, I haven't
Oh,
seen that. I didn't
so
know.
they
So
make,
I've got to see the home ones. I didn't know you can actually had backpack ones for those.
dude. They have a smaller one that's like 383. So you do it like we'll get you like a coffee. I want to do like a YouTube video. We should do it together. I want to do like
Okay.
a YouTube video. We should do it with Luke. It'd be fun to do with Luke.
Yeah.
And I want to do like AeroPress coffee, tea bags, the pour over, and then do like instant coffee, and then maybe even like have you seen this coffee paste they have out now?
No.
I was
Coffee
texting because
paste.
I was texting Brady Miller about it. They have a paste now you can do a coffee with too. Like you drink it or you can like put it in there and it makes your coffee. It's like a paste. I
Okay.
want to do like 5 things, like try it out, like a backpacking coffee type deal. Because I really
A
feel like the
blind taste
AeroPress,
test.
yeah, like a blind taste test, right? I really feel like the AeroPress is like it's a little bit on the heavier side, but dude, it's where it's at. Like it's you can make some legitimate coffee, and there's like tricks. There's like full on like I went down the rabbit hole of just like I'm like an AeroPress guy now. Like I've watched like I'm a psychopath. I don't even know that about me yet. Like whatever I do, like I'm just like 100%
All
all
in.
into it,
Oh
all
yeah.
in,
I'm
right?
the
So I'm
same
like
way.
watching all these videos and like so you have to do it. You have to do it upside down. When you do an AeroPress, you don't do it the right way. You do it the upside down way, which is wasn't made that
Okay.
way, but it's so much better because then you don't get any leaking or anything. And dude, like I'm all in on the AeroPress for backcountry. I'm gonna be carrying this sucker everywhere with me because it's a phenomenal cup of coffee. Like
I'll have to chip on that because I
like
know,
and
like
I
that's the
even
one thing
have
I
like
know I'm
so
gonna
let's put
get.
it this way. I'm traveling. Right, so I just got back from Hawaii. I have my own
Huh?
grinder that I bring with me when I'm traveling now. I'm grinding my coffee and my beans. I'm going to China and Vietnam next week for 10 days. I'll bring my own thing with me because all those people drink are lattes over there. They don't know what coffee is over in Asia, right? So I'm always bringing these things going with me. I brought with me to Utah this year because like I hate like the little you get like the crappy Motel 6 coffee in your room. Like I'm
Oh
just make
yeah.
my own
Yeah.
coffee, do wherever I go. So when I like when I go to Alaska, I'll bring ground coffee. I'm not gonna bring my grinder. I mean, maybe I'll bring my grinder. It's Alaska. Maybe it'd be kind of fun to get made fun of by these guys on video. But like, you just bring some ground coffee, put it in the AeroPress, put a little hot water in there, stir it up 30 seconds, put a little more water in there, turn it over, press it into your cup, and then just pour some hot water in like an Americano. And it's the smoothest cup of coffee I've ever had.
Hmm.
Hands down, the
That's
smoothest
what I
cup.
say about that. that dark timber stuff, like you said, it's expensive. Like I love that coffee so much that I don't know if it's because you're in the mountains or whatever it is. Like it just tastes better because you're in the mountains. But I would drink that dark timber coffee every single day if it wasn't like 250 a freaking cup or whatever the heck it is,
Is
for
it?
the
I thought
little
it was more
bag.
than that. Is it on 250?
I don't think they're. I think because you buy them in like the big packs or whatever. You make a little
Yeah.
savings the more you buy, type of thing. I think they're like two and a half bucks. I can't remember, but I stopped looking because I just know it's a must for me. But
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
just
buying
might
peak
change it.
refills. Like eating peak is not cheap.
No,
I mean, you're talking
no,
$30 a day. You know what I mean? Like it's 15
uh,
bucks a meal now for that stuff, and you just buy
yeah,
it and do it. I actually make my own granola now, so I've
I
been
do
doing
too.
that.
Yeah, I
I
do
just
too.
buy. You just go buy granola at the store. I buy the
So much
bags, the
cheaper.
peak refill bags, and I buy
Uh-huh.
powdered milk, put it in there. I make my own granola because like I can't stomach $15 for a bag of granola from
Mm,
Peaks. Like I love you,
no,
Peaks, friend of Tricer,
yeah,
friend of the show. We trade stuff all the time, but dude, like you can go buy some like awesome bags of granola at Sprouts or whatever your farmer's market is,
yeah.
and make and go buy some powdered milk and make your own. And it's just as good. Put some
Well, like
chocolate chips in there.
the calories are so much higher too. So it's like I
Oh
make the
yeah,
granola, I do the granola, and then I do there's because there's powdered milk you can get that's like fat free and with
yeah,
fat. And
yeah,
the with fat stuff, it's tons of calories in the with
yeah.
fat. And then I also throw protein powder in there for just
Oh,
like every
next
single
level.
morning. Yeah, and I think it makes a big difference. That's something I've actually started doing the last couple of years. Either even if I'm hunting from the truck or just day hunting or whatever else. If I get back at the night, I normally have a protein shake at the end of the night. You'd have a protein shake after you're done working out. Elk hunting is a freaking workout, man. Like you get back to
Oh,
and
more
it's I
workout than
think
anything you
protein.
ever do. Hunting is
And,
more. You burn more calories
oh
hunting than anything.
yeah, every night I freaking make a protein shake up and then yeah, and then I eat dinner.
It's a
So
good idea putting the protein in there. I didn't even thought about that because
oh, it makes
I
it
don't do a
taste
lot of
good too.
protein. It messes me up. But you can do some like chocolate protein powder in there, dude. It'd be gold, and some cookies and
I
cream
like
protein
vanilla.
powder.
I
Vanilla, yeah,
just
vanilla would
straight
be good.
vanilla. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
vanilla would
not.
be great
Yeah,
in there. Yeah, vanilla, some
vanilla
milk, and
wilderness athlete. That's because I've had that protein powder mess me up as well in the past, especially if you have too much of it. But the wilderness athlete daily stuff is really easy on my stomach, and the vanilla tastes good. That's what I put in those granola,
yeah,
in the granola, and then that high fat, and then throw some nuts in there or something else or whatever. And dude, it's like 800 calories for a small bag of granola.
yeah.
It's a stout little breakfast.
I feel like I'm
So
already farting enough with just the peaks. Like I couldn't imagine. Like I had peaks on the podcast. I'm like, what makes you fart so much? Like I don't understand. He's like,
what was
I
the
feel like it's.
answer?
They couldn't give me an answer. I'm like, it has to be that's rehydrating. It has to still be rehydrating inside of you, right? I mean, like, what makes you fart so bad when you eat dehydrated meals? I mean, it's like you get four dudes in a tent. Oh my gosh, dude! Like,
Oh, dude,
I was hiking behind
it's
Cody Rich, and like, I got a mouthful. It was disgusting. I'm like, oh,
so you
it's
could tell
like,
them what flavor you had the night before.
oh, dude. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, stroganoff. Let's go. Like, dude, like it's just like it, dude. Those things, man. I don't know what it is. They get me so good. I imagine if I was doing that and protein powder, nobody would hunt with me ever again.
I don't get it too bad from the protein powder, but the peak, yeah, peak's bad. Like
Yeah.
so maybe that's why no one hunts with me. But
Well, dude, I think it's because this is my theory, and I'm a redneck engineer. My theory is that it's still hydrating inside of you, so you get gassy, right? Like it's hydrating and like creating stuff inside there, right? It has to be. Like, why else would it make you fart so bad?
I have no idea the amount of. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I
Dude,
can't argue with you.
dude, it makes you fart like crazy. I can tell you what, like, what's your go-to coming off the mountain? Like, I always want like a cheeseburger and a Coke.
Uh, Pizza typically. Yeah,
Pizza? We
pizza
did
is kind
pizza
of
last time.
yeah.
We did pizza and a Coke. I don't drink soda. I drink soda water for everything. But like when I'm
Hmm.
hunting, I want like a Dr. Pepper and like we had pizza last time or a burger, some French fries. Like it just sounds so like all you could think
Oh
about
yeah,
like day six, you know,
yeah. Pizza and a beer for me.
pizza and a beer.
That's the pizza and a beer. That's the
So
go-to.
we are talking you talk about food a little bit. So this kind of podcast kind of all over the place, which is fun. It's kind of your backpack kit, which is kind of cool, right? I mean, I spent 100 days in the fields. So I kind of know what I'm doing now when it comes to like my kit, right? That's why, like, you
Yeah,
hear me say, like, this is what you learn what works for you, right? You're gonna listen to this and be like, oh, Drew's dumb, don't use that. I'm like, well, it's fine. Then you're gonna have things that I don't have, right? We're gonna have things that both of us don't like, but like, it kind of works. Like, I know it makes me comfortable, right? Like, I
yeah,
sacrifice some areas and then I add other areas, right? So one thing that I do is a lot of cheeses, a lot of nuts, dried berries, and then I love salami. So like a
yeah.
stick, like a stick of like the $10 stick of salami, like one of those. I can do one of those a day, and like I would much rather have that like than I hate bars. I hate bars.
Yeah.
Like I don't want like I don't care what bar it is. I like especially like those pro bars or like the meal to go things. Like oh gosh, I would much rather
You can
bring
do
a
it for a
stick of
few
salami.
days.
What's that?
Yeah, I can do them for a few days, and then after a while. So like I remember, dude, it was one of my very first really long backpack hunts. I think I was ready for like 12 days, and
Mhm.
I went in, and my food, and with your experience, you'll understand like oatmeal was my breakfast, and then it
Yep.
was bars, and I remember I brought like a thing of peanut butter with me, and it was
Yep.
Mountain Houses at the time for dinner. I think my lunch was a Mountain House. Everything was the exact same texture.
Oh
And I remember
gosh.
it was like day 6 or day 7. I'm not like I'm a garbage disposal when it comes to food. I can eat anything. Like nothing bothers me.
Mhm.
I almost puked on day 7 trying to eat the oatmeal. It hit my tongue and that texture. I was like, I just it was not good. So I definitely have to like mix it up. Granola, nuts, dried fruit's been a big one for me lately. Like dried mangoes, dried
The dried
peaches is really good.
cranberries, those bag of
Yeah.
cranberries and some almonds.
hmm
That's good. Some bananas. Um,
Yeah, I've definitely started leaning more into that more like real food type thing rather than just
100%.
like
That's real
all the
food's where it's
protein
at.
bars and crap. So I
So
feel
when I
way
first
better.
yeah, when I first started backpack hunting, I was like, that's like when Jason Harrison was still like super prevalent. He's kind of the guy kind of like pushing this thing, right? And like I remember watching him, he's like, oh, just Fritos, Reese's peanut butter cups. Like it doesn't matter what you eat out there, Snickers bars, doesn't matter what you eat, it's
Calories.
all
Yeah.
calories, calories, calories. And dude, I remember going on like a 10-day hunt, and my buddy, like I'm doing Jason's meals, right, which is just like Fritos and like just gross food, which I don't eat at home. And my buddy has like cheese and salami. And I remember just looking at him, and now you will never see me not have Baby Bells, those
Mhm.
little like those Tillamook cheeses from Costco, and then like a thing of salami. And I could do like a thing of salami every single day because it's just that good. I just eat salami,
Yeah.
and you get all that. The salami has all that fat, and it's just like real food. So to be said
Yeah.
about non-processed, like if you don't eat, like I eat pretty healthy at home. Like I don't eat processed food at home. Don't go in the
Yeah. Switch it
mountains
up
and
out in the
eat
fields.
processed freaking garbage, dude. Like eat good, and
Yeah.
that's a game changer in itself right there. Just having like almonds and I also always have some
Mhm.
like gummy worm or something in there as well. I always throw in like I might have like six to ten gummy worms for each day at the hunt because I like having something like that, something sweet in there. Something nice about having some peanut butter or something else in there.
Yeah. Gummy bears are my go-to. The gummy bears are my big treat. And then, yeah, a lot of, like I said, I just crank the fat, everything, macadamia nuts,
Hmm.
those F-bomb packs. Have you ever done those?
No, but
They're just literally
I
a little pack of calories. They're
I
pretty
think
cool
I
too.
have tried those. I like the almond butter packages, you know what I mean? Like those
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those, whatever those
Yeah.
are, you
Same
get those
idea.
sprouts, you know what I mean? So it's like they have like
hmm
honey, they have chocolate, they have all those. So I do those almond butters, go sprouts. Like I try to
Yeah.
stay out of like too much of the snacks from like REI because I feel like it's so gimmicky, like
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
expensive. You know what I mean? Like I can go to Sprouts. Like when I make my stuff, like same thing. Like I'll go to like the bin where you can get a scoop. You scoop out a pound and it's just like four
hmm
bucks. And I'll make
Yeah.
like because I package out my stuff into Ziploc bag. Right? So I get a gallon Ziploc bag and then I fill it up with all my snacks. So like I'll make Ziploc bags for each day with like my nuts, my
hmm
almonds, a lot of nuts, honestly. Then like my cheese and stuff, and put it all in each bag and do that. And I feel like it's a lot easier to do that than go to REI and it's like $6 for a thing of whatever
Yeah.
Lovejoy nuts, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I could just buy the freaking about 2 pounds of it for $10 at Sprouts, and made it
Yeah.
myself, and it's just as good.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
And then always finish a
Um,
day with a peak refill or pretty much peak refill all the time now. I have some Mountain House still as well, but peak kind of like they kind of took over when it comes to like 1,000 calories at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah, you can't beat the peaks. One other one, it's not peak refuel that I used to like a lot is Next Mile meals.
Okay.
That same kind of idea. They have like cheese and they're sourced to be like a keto type deal. But and in
Mhm.
my brain, I'm not keto or nothing like that. But in my brain, it's just really heavy in fat. Like it's just a lot of fat, which just means a lot of
Mhm.
calories. They're a little
Yeah.
smaller, so if you like get really hungry at night, they don't like you don't get that full feeling, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the calories to weight ratio is pretty killer on those. It's been a while since I've had one of those, but they're pretty damn good.
That's another thing that's a gimmick is this whole like 2 servings thing on every one of these peak refills. I'm like, come I think that
Yeah.
has to be like an FDA thing. I couldn't get an answer on that either, but like, dude, like I don't know
No,
anybody who's
anybody that
sharing.
shares those?
I've never shared one in my life. And like typically I want to eat another one, right? Like
Yeah,
I probably have one and a half in me each night if I wanted to, but I
I
don't,
definitely
right?
could. Oh yeah, yeah,
We tried
especially
to
on
do
some of these
two.
harder hunts.
This last time we're like, oh, we can eat two 'cause we're coming out. We came out early. And then I couldn't get two down. I got like one and a half down and tossed it. But like, it's like, dude, but the thing about the peaks is like when I first started doing this, like you're getting like 400 calories, and you took 16 ounces of water for a mountain house. Well, now you could do these
Hmm.
peaks are like 8 to 10 ounces. You get like 1,000 calories out of these things, anywhere from 8 to 1,100 calories. Like they're good, man. I peaks is just next level. Been they're my go-to backpacking meal for hunting and doing stuff. I
This
still like
stuff's
we
come a
burn so
long
many.
ways, man. Yeah,
Oh,
this stuff's
a
come a long ways
long,
from when I was backpacking when I was 12 years old. And, as a Boy Scout, I mean, food was whatever Pop Tarts and whatever crap you get in you.
yeah.
So
Well, let's end with that's a good pod. I guess I was gonna talk about first aid kits and stuff, but we won't do that. We always
I
end with
don't
a hunting
carry
story.
anything.
You don't,
I carry like electrical tape, Leuco tape, some Benadryl. That's it.
dude? Let me
That's my
grab mine
first
for you
aid
real
kit.
quick. Let me tell you. Let
All
me
right.
grab mine. We're not gonna end. We're gonna do this real quick. Let me grab mine. It's right here on the ground. I have a scale somewhere. I could probably weigh this thing. It's big. It's big now.
Okay.
It used to be a Ziploc bag that was like the same band-aids from like 5 years ago. Leuco tape. I always have Leuco tape in my pack, no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, so my first aid kit, I went to Ryan Lambert's has the Western Hunting Summit,
Okay.
and they do like a first aid thing, and it's like hardcore. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm always hunting with who am I hunting with? My two sons, my three sons now, right? My
Mm,
father-in-law is 70 years old, and I'm like, and I'm carrying around some band-aids. And like it just like it shook me because I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm never gonna regret carrying an extra 10 ounces to be able to save one of their lives. That's really what it comes down to, right? Like, I mean, I cut my wrist a couple of years ago at home. I was spraying blood everywhere. I'm like, dude, I was in the hills, this would have sucked. I was cleaning deer. So like now my kit, dude, it's pretty hardcore. Like I definitely have like my original Ziploc bag, right? With a lot of steri strips in there, band-aids, neosporins, all that stuff. I do always have Tylenol PM in here.
mhm.
Like I love Motrin, so I have a lot of Motrin and a lot of Tylenol PM. I eat Motrin like candy in the backcountry. I have a bag of Motrin all the time, and now I take 2 Tylenol PM, helps me sleep. I have these zip stitch things now. I don't know if you've seen these. So
Yeah, I have seen those. Yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah.
zip tie, so you can put it on. Like this cut on my wrist, like no joke, went into the artery. I was spraying blood. It was gnarly. You can actually put this thing on there, and you pull two zip ties, and it closes the sucker up. It's like a
Mhm.
butterfly bandage on steroids, right? So
Right.
I got those in my pack. I have one of these rescue splints. Doesn't weigh nothing, so it's a piece of aluminum with foam on it. You could build a splint out of it. So say
Yeah, I
someone
remember
broke their
those.
arm, you could build this thing
Mhm.
out, wrap them up with some. Just use your tape, use whatever you got in there. Um, it's a big transparent dressing pad, right? So if something goes wrong, what's I got in here? I do have a mouth to mouth thing, which I don't think would really matter. But I guess if you're covered in blood because a bear bit you and I had to give mouth to mouth, it'd be nice to have this on me. And then obviously Leuco tape. That's your regular tape, strap tape. What else I got in here? Oh, I do have a what's the stupid thing called where you tie it off? The
Tourniquet.
tourniquet. I have a
Tourniquet.
tourniquet now,
Yeah.
an actual
That's the
tourniquet.
one thing. That's the one thing I want to add to my bag because if there's any like most of the stuff you carry, you break an arm, like you can find sticks or you can
Yeah,
find a
you can
way
find
to
something to do it.
get around it. The tourniquet's the one thing that a belt works okay, but or maybe if you rip your shirt up just right, you can get it. But the tourniquet's the one thing that I think I'm going to add to my bag because that's the one thing that's like legitimately life saving.
Yeah,
Where if you stab yourself with a broadhead or you cut yourself bad cutting, because we're using broadheads, we're using knives, like guns,
and
like we have some
we're
stuff
using
that could really mess
surgical
you up.
knives now. All of us, most of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so you could really cut yourself bad pretty good. So a
yeah.
tourniquet's the one thing I think I will add to my bag. But everything other than
So
that, electrical tape and a tourniquet, and I'm good to go.
yeah, so I do have a pair of tweezers in there now, right? And then I have
Okay.
like a little syringe just so you can like actually clean wounds out. So if you get dirt in there, you can clean it out, spray it out, keep yourself out there. And all in, I think it might weigh a pound. It's not that heavy, but
Oh,
it's
really?
just way more than like originally it was like a bag like this, right? It's a little Ziploc
Yeah.
bag just full of band-aids and there's some
Yeah.
Neosporin in there and stuff. But now I've got, it weighs a pound, it's got everything I need in it. And if something goes wrong, I'm not going to regret, like, I'm never going to regret having the stuff if I need it, right? Like, knock
Yeah.
on wood, like, I spent a lot of time in the hills. I've never had like a major accident. But I just you kind of expect that at some point when you spend as much time as we do in the field, you're going to have something go wrong, right? Someone's
Yeah.
going to, I mean, like, how many close calls you had coming off some shale cliffs, or you know what I mean? Like, there's been some stuff where I'm like, I did a tumble a couple of years ago with my boys over a rock edge. I was going backwards, my foot caught, and I did a backflip landed, and my hand caught in a rock and ripped my hand open. But like, if I would have not caught the rock, I would have been, I went for a
Yeah.
ride. You know what I mean? And I think
I actually
nothing
had a
got
few.
broken. Go ahead.
My I had somebody they advised me to carry Benadryl because of like
Yeah.
getting stung or something
Oh,
along
I have
those lines,
Benadryl as well
and
too. Yeah.
that was one thing I was like, okay, I stuck in my bag. I think I got Benadryl, ibuprofen, and that's pretty much it. And then that next trip, I was with my buddy in Nevada, and he got bit or stung by something and going through some bushes. And dude, his face swelled up, his lips swelled up, his eyes shut closed, like everything else. And like I gave him Benadryl, and it took a while, but I think the Benadryl definitely was like I was like, okay, Benadryl's a big one. Like that's a
Yeah.
big one. Benadryl and tourniquet's probably pretty big because I actually this last trip, I'm not allergic to anything as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
This last trip, I went through a really really thick bushes crossing the creek, and then I got out to my ridge and I sat down, dude. All of a sudden, dude, like my eyes were itching like crazy and everything else, and I took a selfie of myself and looked at myself. My eyes were about swollen shut.
Yep.
I don't know what I went through, but something messed me up bad where
Yeah.
everything like I got like all rash all down my chest and my eyes were swollen. I could barely see anything. I was all goopy the next day. It was weird. I got no idea what I went through, but it took a half Benadryl and
Well,
called it a
dude,
day.
you're out there at the same time as me. You can see the pollen releasing. Do you get that when you're up there a couple weeks ago?
I
We could
didn't
see the
see it,
pollen
but
where we
yeah.
were in Montana. We could see the pollen releasing the whole time. It was gnarly. I always have Benadryl in there. I also always have antidiarrheals. So
Uh,
a couple of those in there as well. Because like telling you what, like when you got those around, like every once in a while
yeah,
you get the mountain runs. You know what I mean? It's nice to
it's a
have it.
bad day. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I had it in the desert. You can ask Gavin Swinson about this from Gila Monster Outdoors. He filmed the hunt last year in the desert, and there was like no shelter. So I'm like, Gavin, I got to take a crap right in the middle of the desert. I had to stop like 5 times coming out of the hills with Gavin. It got me
Dude,
good. But having those pills in the
that's
pack
definitely is
is
where
yeah,
dried fruits come into play for me a little bit too. Dried fruits helped
yeah.
out quite a bit on that. But
Yeah, over the with the peak refill and stuff, like those peaks
yeah.
get me, man. But I like having the antidiarrheals in there too because you never know. It's not just me; it's other people too, right? So yeah, it's kind of my
Yeah.
kit. My kit's a little more hardcore than than it used to be, but it's not that heavy, and I'm never gonna regret having it. Like I said, like
No,
if
that's not a
something
bad
goes
idea.
wrong, it's nice to have that stuff there. I'm never gonna be like, oh man, I'm glad I saved 4 ounces on that tourniquet, and now my son's bleeding out here. You know what I mean? Because he
Yeah.
took a 300 Win Mag through the arm or something. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy
just
shit happens, man. Every year
crazy
something
stuff
happens to
happens
somebody every
every
year.
year.
Yeah.
Every year. So, dude, we always end with a hunting story. It doesn't have to be your biggest animal, your best animal. It can just be your first animal. I don't care. Whatever it is, give us a hunting story, campfire story, and we'll wrap the sucker up.
Oh man. All right. Last year, that Wyoming elk I was telling you about last year, he came at it. I'll keep it semi short, but I found him the night before. I was hunting with a few friends that trip, and then everybody had to leave and go back to work, and so I actually ended up being solo that night. And that was the night I finally turned up this big bull, and I was solo. I tried to get close to him that night, couldn't. I like 1,000 yards as close as I get, so I backed out and said I'll try again in the morning. Um, I found him the next morning, a couple ridges over him and another bull, and they bedded down some trees. I went over and got close. I was like 350 yards away from them, and they were in this big patch of trees across the way. And I searched and I searched and I glassed and I glassed, and all freaking day I got over there, and they were bedded down by maybe 9 or 10. I was over there shortly after, and so all day I'm glassing trees, and I couldn't find them. Couldn't find them. I know they're in there. Uh, couldn't find them. He finally gets up and he starts moving through the trees, but the trees are too thick for me to get any shots. I just kind of see. I see antlers going through the trees, and then I'll see a different bull, and I'm not sure which bull it is, so I'm waiting, waiting, waiting. All of a sudden, I lose him, and luckily he broke a stick, and he disappeared because I don't know how those big critters move that they do, but I looked up, and he was 60, 70 yards up out of the top of the trees about to go over the ridge last and I had this whole hunt filmed, and then he was about to go out of my sight, and I wrenched up, range dialed, and pulled the trigger, and smoked him right there. Didn't turn on a camera or nothing. But had 97% of the hunt filmed except for the shot. But he almost walked out of my life after a whole freaking day of sitting. But that's actually my biggest bull to date. So, which is pretty damn cool. So,
Yeah, it's
and
not
then I
worth
got
the
to pack him
cameras
out
for me
solo.
either.
No, no,
Pack them out
cameras come
solo.
second. Hunting's first, cameras come second. And then yeah, and then it was after from me pulling the trigger to the last load to the truck was 26 miles over the next 24 hours. I'm going back and forth.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
do you do a bowl? Do that bowl in 3 trips? Not 2 trips.
Yeah, three trips.
3 trips.
Yeah, three
Yeah,
trips.
I think
Yeah.
3 trips is probably my minimum I would do. 4 trips is nice. It is way so much, dude.
Yeah.
They get you,
I
and you get 100 pounds on your back, and you're going down those hills. Like it's yeah. I love having two guys, 2 trips, right? That when you can do like do the rears, and then has the other guy do the fronts and the backs, back straps. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like that's a nice load for me. Like fronts and back straps, neck meat in one bag, and then rears in the other bag. Like that's a nice load come down on an elk. But man, when you try and do that sucker, like I've tried to pick up a half a bowl, and it's like no, I'm good. Like I
I've done that a couple times, and during I always regret it. And then once I get to camp, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have to go back right now. But
yeah,
that's I've only ever done that with people. I've done half a bowl a couple times, but man, that one hurts. So
it's the 4 days afterwards. It still hurts. Or you can't
yeah,
hunt the next day because you're stuck in your tent.
yeah,
But
I haven't
dude,
done
that
that for a
was
couple of years. I was a little younger when I was doing that. So,
yeah.
but
But Steven, man, it was fun having you on the pod, dude. We had a good pod.
yeah,
Hopefully
thanks,
everyone
man.
got something out of all the stuff for gear, and people love gear podcasts anyways. So little taste of what you spend on time out in the field, me spending time in the field, and just kind of learn what we're doing. Where can we find you?
Way Up West Outdoors is kind of so I kind of got two things. Way Up West Outdoors is me and what I'm doing, and then I got Stephen Lauder Media, and that's me behind the camera for everybody
Sweet.
else most of the time. So those are the two places: YouTube, Instagram, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome,
So
dude. That was a fun
cool.
pod.
Thanks
Let's
for
do it
having me,
again.
man.
Yeah.